Welcome to New Education with Isha and Danny.
Camellia, welcome to the Nuut-ed podcast. How are you going today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Really good, thank you. Thank you so much for taking time to chat with us. Really excited for this topic. We're going to chat all about bloating today, and it's an issue that a lot of people face, and a lot of our followers and listeners always ask us questions about bloating. So we thought we'd get you on as an expert to kind of, answer some questions for us. But to start with, why don't you tell everyone, I guess, a bit about you, what you do, and where this kind of passion for helping people with their digestion and gut issues came from?
So I'm a nutritionist. I'm currently working through my own virtual clinic, Better Being Nutrition, where I specialize in basically women's gut health and particular issues like chronic bloating, constipation, reflux, low energy, food intolerances, and it's really inspired by my own gut health journey, which began about 10 years ago in my late teens when I started facing these really persistent gut issues myself, waking up, bloated every morning, dealing with irregular bowel movements, struggling with a growing list of food intolerances, and just trying everything from elimination diets to supplements to working with multiple different health practitioners and just not being able to find any lasting relief until I delved into nutrition and functional health myself. And throughout my studies and my personal experience, I really discovered that, true gut healing requires a really holistic approach. And what I mean by this is obviously addressing everything from diet and lifestyle to mindset and proper testing. And this is why I'm so passionate about helping women who, might feel dismissed or misunderstood by conventional healthcare advice, and really just empowering them to take control of their health and reclaim obviously their gut health, but everything else that comes with that as well, their confidence, their energy, and just their zest for life, which is something that really gets taken away from you when you struggle with chronic gut issues.
Yeah, you've spoken a lot about on your own, social media and stuff about your own journey, like you said, and how you found functional nutrition to really help you. Along that journey, what are some lessons you learned regarding, your health and your diet?
Yeah, so many lessons I've learned, I suppose, from just really the importance of personalization. So we can often go off onto tangents, whether that is our own research or trying the latest supplement or quick fix, and really just missing the point, I suppose, and not having professional guidance and trying to figure it all out on our own when we need someone who can look at it from an outside perspective and take a holistic approach and do all the right, the personalized testing, doing a comprehensive health assessment, and really looking deeper, because often we miss the point ourselves, and we can just really overlook the underlying root cause, which is why it's so important to get professional help. That's the biggest lesson I've learned by far.
Yeah, we are kind of bombarded now by different health trends and the latest, like eat this and try this. Can you explain how someone can maybe identify whether one of these popular food trends are actually doing more damage than good?
Yeah, so one of these popular trends, I suppose, is a lot of these sort of quick fix gut health supplements. I'm not going to name any names, obviously, but I just think a lot of them is just about a quick fix, and it's not tailored, it's not personalized to the individual. And they just promise this quick fix and this one size fits all, when our gut health, it's like a fingerprint, like there's no two fingerprints the same. And when it comes to gut health, it's so important to have this personalized approach, because otherwise it's just, there is no one size fits all solution when it comes to our guts. And a lot of these marketing gimmicks and products that promise these quick fix solutions, they don't look at the context. It's like, what else is this person doing? What's their diet like? Are they already working with a healthcare practitioner and their gut health is already in pretty good shape? And this supplement is just like a cherry on top.
Yeah. And so we've also heard a lot about the gut and brain connection, and how, how your mood is. If you're really stressed, that can have a really bad effect on your gut. Can you explain how people can, manage these stress symptoms and stuff to, you know, avoid these bloating and IBS symptoms they might get?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I think a lot of us know, with all the research coming out, there is a really powerful connection between the gut and the brain, and meaning that our emotional states like stress and anxiety, for example, can significantly impact our gut health. And I'm sure most of us have noticed if we're highly stressed or we forget to eat, for example, that bloating can get worse. And this is because when we are stressed or emotional, our body enters this fight or flight state, which is like a survival mode. And I always use this example of going back to, if we're in the desert, for example, and we're being chased by a lion, our body enters this fight or flight mode, and the blood is diverted away from the gut in order to be able to make us be able to fight or escape this stressful situation. Now, obviously, in today's day, this is unlikely for most of us, but we're having a lot more of these emotional or physical stresses. But the body cannot distinguish between physical and emotional stresses. And this is why if we're constantly stressed or experiencing, challenging emotions or anxiety, then digestion is not considered a priority, and it can cause digestion to slow down and lead to symptoms such as bloating. So some simple ways to get the body into this rest and digest state is just by taking, 3 to 4 deep breaths before we have a meal, practicing mindful eating, or doing something like humming, especially prior to sitting down and having a meal, as this can really switch the body from this fight or flight mode into rest and digest, which is the state that we really need to be in, because it signals the brain that it's time to eat and it's time to put the energy into digestion because there's no threats.
Yeah, and so they're so simple tips that you said that you can literally do anywhere, anytime, and just kind of center yourself if you're on the go and eating on the go and always running around. You can be scoffing food down as quickly as possible, and then you feel your stomach just feels bloated afterwards, and it's you might not have eaten that much. Can you
Exactly.
tell me now, based on your personal experiences with your gut health and your professional working with so many people, some practical steps that some of our listeners can use daily to manage their, symptoms or prevent some bloating?
Yeah, so it always is very personalized, but some general tips that I do use with all my clients, the first one being mindful eating. So this is something a lot of us myself included, are guilty of not doing all the time, as we're often in a rush to eat or getting back to work deadlines, for example. And mindful eating, it basically just means slowing down, chewing our food thoroughly, like every mouthful, try and chew 30 to 50 times. So it's like in this sort of emulsified, like baby puree texture, and avoiding distractions like phones or computers, and just really trying to eat in a designated eating zone. So what this means is away from an environment that you associate with stress, whether that's the work desk, and if you can, going outside while we're at work, sitting under a tree, getting some fresh air, as this really helps the brain to realize again that it's time to put the focus into eating so that the stomach can properly break down food to help reduce bloating.
Well, yeah, there's some simple tips I think that everyone could try and do. I love eating outside, and especially now the weather's getting hopefully a little bit nicer now that it's spring. We can, eat our lunch outside if we can, or take a break in the morning, have your morning breakfast outside. I think getting that sunlight as well really boosts your mood, which is great for the gut.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And
So,
one more that I do love sharing is swapping from a lot more of those raw foods to more of the cooked foods. I find this makes a tremendous difference for a lot of the women I work with who have, quite chronic struggles with bloating, because raw foods still contain a lot of these fibers which are intact and which can actually be really hard to digest if we have issues such as bloating. So opting for more of the cooked over the raw vegetables and fruits, as well as slow cooked meats and soups and stews, are going to be far easier to digest. And they provide a lot of the healing nutrients like amino acids and collagen to really support gut health and reduce bloating as well.
Well, that's great. I love, roasting veggies and all of that is really it's so delicious. So, it's really easy to do as well. Meal prepping as well for the week. Get all those veggies cooked, and then it's so simple. But that's a great tip, because I think a lot of people think, having a big salad that they're eating so healthy, but it's really like a lot of stress on their digestive system, and that could be causing, some bloating.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, especially with women, we're wanting to go for those healthy, like nourished bowls and pretty looking salads, which are really tasty, but they can really be a lot more difficult to digest, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Like we said, you have your own online nutrition clinic, Better Being Nutrition, which we'll pop in the show notes, and everyone can go there or go to your Instagram page, because like I mentioned at the beginning, you share a lot of information, a lot of tips for people to follow and just get a little bit of insight. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will definitely be having you back on the podcast, because so many topics to talk about. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.